maybe it's about time in the design industry that we start to think about things beyond human-centered.
Yeah, so do you think that designers or design has the responsibility to always be towards a good cause? And, is that ever too pressurizing as a designer to be like, okay, everything I put out in the world has to be for something good?
I think it depends on the designer's value, right? Values, actually. Now, that and also the ability to see. Now, by the ability to see, I mean the inability to see, right? Because sometimes things that don't seem to be necessarily immediately good for anyone, like, okay, design a shampoo bottle to be a bit nicer so that it sells better. Like, am I dealing with here trying to heighten consumerism or making people buy things unnecessarily? I think it's not always so straightforward, meaning that sometimes, for example, you do not know that the formulation is quite good, for example, or some scientist is slogging his life away to make that shampoo a little better, right? And that company is just not good at selling their things when they are actually, doing this work. So some chemist somewhere is doing a decent, respectable work in doing these things, and your work, which may seem a little mundane, is helping to enable the livelihoods of these people. So the cascading effects is sometimes beyond our immediate comprehension, and I would say when it's kind of like seems mundane or normal, I don't think you have to over question your work, right? To say, hey, it's meaningless, right? But of course, this is a tricky path to walk because you also don't want to lie to yourself, when you say, this is, I always make things that make people buy things, then if there's some kind of deceit in there, I think you will either feel very uncomfortable after some time, or you will get so used to it to lie to yourself that I don't know what will happen actually, but it doesn't sound like a path that we want to go down. I'm just saying, actually, what was I saying? I was saying the effect of not being able to see, right? There was another point, right? The values. So I would say the values are we can't be prescriptive of the values for everyone, right? Even in our own team, there will be different people with different beliefs and different value system. Now, I do want to say that maybe it's about time in the design industry that we start to think about things beyond human-centered, right? I think this conversation is emerging. It's funny because this year I just had a thesis student propose to me, say, hey, let's do divine-centered design. What's divine-centered design? But the questions asked there was very interesting in the sense that maybe there's more to life than human beings are, and satisfying every user's demand, right? Now, different experts are starting to question this also, and they're asking the question of what is an animal-centered design? What is monkey-centered design? Is it always just human-centered, right? Now, but a broader term that I think is emerging in the industry, and I quite agree with it, is life-centered design, right? So that we don't just design to help people sell things or help people feel a certain kind of satisfaction from buying and using things, but we consider the totality of it. I think it's human-centered design has it's time to kind of revisit this term and reconsider.
Maybe personally, as a designer, do you feel the weight on your shoulders in gunning for this, designing for this life-centered designs? Does it ever feel too stressful?
No, it feels just nice. Why I say is this, because you for me right, I cannot feel like I'm carrying the weight of the world. I'm not able to, right? But yet on a individual basis and as a team, it's possible to do something, right? So within these two polar, extremes. For us, I think we have a bit of a happy ground where we say, let's do what falls into our hands, and within that, the thing that in our hands that we have a way to impact, let's try as best to impact it. Of course, we don't do it like in a bullish way. Yeah, we do it as far as possible gently. A lot of things need to align. The client has to feel like a certain willingness also to orientate towards a certain way. So you can't bash your way through. But at the same time, there is always this underlying compass. Yeah, and because I think we fundamentally concede that our ability is finite, right? So we don't feel like there's this whole weight of the world to carry. In the first place, that will probably be a little bit egoistic, right? To feel that you can effect that level of change. Yeah, so we just do what is in our lot.